There's an 8-year-old on the go in Colorado Springs and impressing the community as he reaches new heights.
Please welcome Joe Baker and his 7-year-old son, Sam. Welcome, guys.
So excited to be here.
Time for the good news story of the day. 6-year-old Sam has been rock climbing since he could walk. Now Sam and his dad are scaling iconic summits.
Sam and Joe are still on track to climb ElCapitan next summer, which is one of the hardest climbs in the world. The goal is for Sam to be the youngest kid to ever reach the summit.
From a very young age, Sam has been very, very active, has always loved to climb things, has been very athletic. He's always been pretty driven too, which I think that helps you in a lot of ways to give you the self-motivation that you want and that you need a lot of times to keep going.
Go like this, and I lean back, and I twist my shoe, and then go up and go up and go up and go up until I get to the top.
Okay, I'm gonna hop in the shower if you can watch it. Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
I could see it very early. There's one clip where he throws his foot up and heel hooks the top of the crib, and he's like fighting up it.
Go buddy, go buddy, go buddy.
And it's like, it looks like I should jump in and like grab him and help him, but I don't. And he like bursts into like tears, but then he like fights up it and jumps up it, and like just seeing that before he was 2 and seeing that, you know, in so many ways, like I could say, okay, this kid's a climber.
ElCap. ElCap. We haven't finished the word. ElCapitan?
ElCapitan is the largest big wall in North America.
3,000 feet high? I don't know where it is.
California, right? Yosemite?
Yeah, Yosemite.
And it's in Yosemite National Park, which is the most beautiful national park in America. But it is sort of like the dream of any trad climber is to summit ElCapitan.
It's just has this mythic proportion where these legends have been made, like on ElCapitan.
It is very technical because you have to know lots of rope rigging, rope management. You have to be a good climber skill-wise to be able to do it. It just takes a lot of gear, a lot of time. You're usually staying overnight on the wall, so you have to take a portaledge to sleep on, your sleeping bag, all your food. It's basically like a camping trip, but you're living on a rock, you know, on a sheer wall. There's a lot that goes into it.
You don't get on ElCapitan unless you are an expert in the sport.
4, 6, 8, 10.
That's what we're developing is a young man who is an expert in the sport. He can really do everything that great climbers can do. He knows that it's going to be really, really hard, and he needs to train for it. And so we train for it every day. I mean, it's not like we work on it a few days a week. It's every day to do this.
I think people, they're not used to seeing this level of intensity maybe within rock climbing, but you do often see it in more of an organized sport. Soccer, baseball, we grow up playing those, we grow up watching it on TV. It's more mainstream, whereas climbing is still pretty on the fringe.
You might be thinking, how are you going to get to that white up there? It ends there. This big red one right here. This one right here. Put it on this one, right there. The one down. You want me to show you? It's a small chance I can do it.
We're not trying to push this and like make this the riskiest venture ever. There will never even be a moment between the bottom of the cliff and the top where Sam will be unclipped, where Sam will be unharnessed. Like, we sleep in our harnesses, we eat in our harnesses, and we go to the bathroom in our harnesses. There's never a moment on that wall where he will be exposed to falling off the cliff. It's really, we're just trying to climb ElCapitan in the safest way we can. We've done a series of initiating mountains where each one gets bigger and harder, but the biggest one is actually feeling smaller and smaller because we're escalating the challenges with each one. I mean, the reason Sam, is beginning to believe he can climb ElCapitan is because of all these other, very difficult routes that he's been able to pull off. And then I said, well, let's give him some exposure. Let's go and spend a night on Lost Arrow Spire. And that was kind of like the next big domino. So Lost Arrow Spire is a 2,700 foot high sheer point that breaks off of Yosemite Peak, which is also right next to Yosemite Falls, which is the largest waterfall in North America. So to climb Lost Arrow, you hike a wall. Then what you do is you rappel into the notch between where the spire breaks off from the wall. And you just tie multiple ropes together to get down to the notch.
We're on top of the world. ElCapitan is way bigger. And that's like 298,000 feet.
And then you climb the front of the spire. And then when you summit Lost Arrow, you're out on this point, and so you have to take your ropes that you have rappelled with, and you attach them to the spire, and then you can Tyrolean across. It's a pretty spectacular thing to do with a kid.
Sam being the youngest person to climb it at 8 years old, we wouldn't just push him to do it just because he has to be 8 when he does it. Let's say we get, 20 pitches up ElCapitan and decide to turn back. It's okay if we don't make it, and I'm cool with that. It will still be a life-changing adventure that we will, forever be talking about. One of Joe's motivations is to invite our son Sam into sort of a more adventurous sport that can take you all over the world, but also to do, this climb together as a father and a son. How does a boy become a man is such an important question, and the answer is initiation. Elementary school doesn't do it, He has to be invited in on some big adventures with his father. And as parents, we can create an environment and fully architect that environment where our children actually can find great courage and strength. It's not really about him being a rock climber. I think rock climbing will always be a part of his life, but there's bigger things. And if he wants to be a rock climber, that's cool too. I think he'll be a great one. What we're really seeing happen here is we're seeing this identity emerge, this thing emerge that's he owns, that's his. See the warrior spirit coming out of him. He wants it. He's interested in his own self-mastery. As a father, I'm very proud to see it. I think as Sam gets older, I really hope that he looks back and says wow, my parents didn't shy away from doing hard things to give me and my brothers, amazing opportunities for us to grow. The story is about our love. It's about our friendship. And it's about this moment in time that I have to be his dad. This is one of those moments that he will remember. I want that for him.